What is up, everyone? Aeneas here. We are kicking off the top 5 new brews of March on the Sheen, and we're going to give Orzhov a little bit of love today. So let's get into it. What is up, folks? So today we're doing the top 5 new brews for March on the Machines. Starting out with number 5, and we're kicking it off with a bang with this black-white tokens deck. And before we dive into it, keep in mind, it is a concept, so some of the numbers are going to get tweaked as we try it out and we play it a little bit. But this is the core concept of the deck and some of the cards that I feel were the best fit for this deck. So let's take a look. So this deck is built primarily around the token generators such as Skrelv's Hive, Wedding Announcement, Archangel Elspeth, Wandering Emperor, even White Sun's Twilight makes tokens. And we got a few new ones, Invasion of Belanon, and Sorin's not new, but Sorin also makes tokens. So those are the main ones that are going to kind of build out your board of tokens. And then we have a bunch of payoffs for all those token generators. Starting even at our 2-drops, we have Ellis Ilkor. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life, and whenever another creature you control dies, the opponent loses 1 life. So if you can get this down and a Skrelv down, basically it offsets the cost for the Skrelv's Hives, and you're going to just be breaking even. And then if the opponent board wipes it, or maybe they trade some of your attacking mites, then they're going to lose life. So it's kind of draining in that sense. We also are running Intrepid Adversary, which is early game, just a decent creature, a 3/1 with lifelink. But then late game, it can become an anthem for all your tokens that you're going to generate. And then we also get to play Rite of Oblivion in black-white, which is a very nice removal. And maybe we should have more of them, but need to kind of see how it plays out. But the benefit is you get Skrelv's Hive down, and maybe also Ellis. And you can Rite of Oblivion, sack one of your Skrelv's Hive mites that get generated, kill something on the opponent's side of the board, well, actually exile, which often is even better. And if you have this down, then you're draining. But even if not, you're getting these free tokens, basically, and you get to turn that into really, really powerful removal that has a flashback as well. So that's kind of the early game. Mid game, you're getting your Wedding Announcements down. You're getting your Invasion of Belanon. You want them to flip so that you get these Anthem effects, so that all your creatures are getting like +2, +2, +3, +3, etc. Turning your Skrelv's Hive, instead of just being 1 life for 1/1, you get a 1 life for a 3/3. It's going to quickly get out of hand and just become a massive board. On top of that, I mean, it doesn't stop there, because the new Elspeth can put tokens on your creatures and give them flying. So we can turn our 1/1s into 3/3s with flying to help us flip our battle cards. We also have this Invasion of Innistrad, which is a flash removal spell that turns into another token generator for us. Creates two zombies and has an activated ability to create more zombies when you exile cards from the graveyard. So just really lots of value here with all of these battles and all of these cards. Wandering Emperor, of course, a house, makes tokens, exiles things, so it's basically removal for you. Yeah, all of those just really sweet. And then Elspeth Resplendent, another really solid planeswalker, gives you some lifelink, gives you some reach. You can do the -3 to try to find like a Wedding Announcement or Skrelv's Hive or stuff like that. And finally, the really big payoff for going wide with our tokens is this one, Invasion of Tolvada. So let's zoom in on this one so you can really see this one. So this one is basically a 5-mana Reanimator battle. And the kind of value you'll get from this deck is, I'm sure you play these Planeswalkers, you get a little bit of value, but then the opponent is probably going to try to kill them. So turn 4, you play Elspeth, you get some value, maybe they kill it. Then you can play this, reanimate your Planeswalker, because it can return any non-battle permanent. You could even bring back something else, like a Wedding Announcement or whatever, if it gets destroyed, or your Ellis. But ideally, you're getting back your Planeswalkers. And then, if you can swing back in, because maybe you got back your Elspeth, or you got back this Elspeth, you can now give your creatures flying, you can swing in, you can kill the battle. And on this side, you get a basically infinite token generator at the beginning of your end step. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying, and all of your creature tokens permanently get +1/+0 and have lifelink. So that is going to really offset the life loss from the Skrelv's Hive, which is one of the biggest downside of this card. And also, it's going to really swing the game back into your favor. So even if you got behind a little bit from the early game, because tokens tend to be a little bit weaker than other cards, having that +1/+0 and lifelink will kind of even that out and help you restabilize and get back into the game and eventually win, because you're just generating so much value every turn from all these tokens that it's making for you. So that's the main concept of the deck. You go in wide, you probably sacrifice the early game a little bit to build up a bunch of tokens on your board. Then you need to try to get this Broken Sky, this Invasion of Telvada down, and flip it to kind of have your lethal board state where everything is gaining life, everything has increased power, and you're making just a bunch of tokens every turn. So it's very grindy. It's kind of similar to the previous standard we had before Phyrexia All Will Be One. And I think the life gain is enough to offset the aggro decks in the format, and also to offset the Skrelv's Hive, which is one of your big token generators. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And we got decent removal in black-white. Go for the Throw, Rite of Oblivion, Invasion of Innistrad, and Wandering Emperor, all giving us some pretty solid removal. And then your uh-oh kind of situation is you use the White Sun's Twilight. And this can just be a token generator if you want. I mean, if you play it for like 5 mana, then you're going to get 3 mites, you're going to gain 3 life. Very respectable. Yeah, totally not bad to do it that way. But if you need to, you can wait until you can cast it for 7, and then you're going to wipe the board, create 5 tokens, and gain 5 life, which we've seen is pretty much a game winner in most situations. And on top of the fact that you've probably already got some wedding announcements down at that point, and maybe your Belanon, and maybe that can be what helps you flip your Telvada and win the game off that. So that's kind of like the contingency plan. And yeah, hopefully you can stall out with your early stuff anyway, and you won't need to do that. But yeah, you never know. It's good to have that as a backup. And you don't really mind losing your board because you have so many token generators that you're just going to get a board state back really quickly anyway. All right. So that is the concept of the deck. Go wide, make a bunch of anthems, buff up all your tokens, and have a bunch of lifelink to offset the fact that you are losing a little bit of life from the Skrelv's Hive. And maybe losing the early game a little bit to some aggro decks if you play against aggro decks. But I think the grindiness of this is going to beat out just about anything that is trying to play like a fair game, and probably good enough to beat out most of the mid-range decks as well. So really your biggest contender will be, can I gain enough life early game to stall out the aggro decks like the Soldiers deck? And I think with the removal in there, it should be possible. But yeah, so that's it. That's the first one of the top 5 new brews. We're going to have 4 more coming up for you this week. And then we are wrapping that up with the early access event, which is on the 14th. I'm going to be over on Twitch streaming live that early access event all morning on the 14th from about 6 a.m. Eastern until 1 p.m. Eastern when the event ends. And yeah, I hope you can check me out there. It'll be lots of fun to have you guys in there, hanging out, chatting, sending some ideas, giving some feedback on how the decks are doing. So yeah, I hope you'll join me. But until next time, go out there, have some fun, and see ya.